Hi everyone, thank you for coming today, and what a day it's been at TEDxHult. My name is Brian and I'm very excited to be here. And what I want to talk about is business cards. I love business cards. I love giving business cards. I love getting business cards. I love designing business cards. And there's just so much there. There's so much importance, right? Think about it. In Asia, when we give a business card, how do we do it? There's a very special way, isn't there? Right? You have to face it in a certain way and everything, two hands and maybe even a little bow, right? Why is that? Well, there's just so much importance there, so much reverence, so much respect in this simple little ritual. Why? Why is that? Well, I believe because of your job title. There is something about the job title that we hold very closely, that we really, really care about, right? So I want to do a quick survey. I want to see how many people here have a senior or an assistant in your job title. Raise your hand. Just a couple, okay. All right, I have a couple more, so let's see. All right, how about a manager or a director in the past? Okay, more like it. How many people here have a chief, a vice, or an executive? Raise your hand. Okay, we're gonna talk afterwards. Great. This is my way of weeding you guys out. But because I cannot actually give you all my business card right now, I'll just give you a quick introduction about who I am. My name is Brian Tam. I'm the CEO and founder of Let's Make Great. We're a creativity consultancy focusing on the next 100 years of innovation in China. This is what I always say, and we're gonna do whatever it takes to make that happen. I always say this as my simple introduction. And this is just such an essential part of what I do and what I care about. A creativity consultancy. But people go, what is that? What is a creativity? What is a what is a creativity consultancy? Well, it's a lot of things. I do a lot of different things. I always just tell them, I focus on the next 100 years of innovation in China. This is all I care about. This is what I'm gonna do. And I'm gonna do whatever it takes to make that happen. I say this again and again and again and again. And people go, what is that? I don't know what that means. Can you be more specific? And I say, all right, well, to be specific, as you saw, I do training, coaching, consulting, branding, strategy, research, design, websites, graphics, speaking, facilitate workshops, and my favorite, of course, is organizing happy hours. So you guys are all welcome. And people ask me, that's a lot of things. What are you most known for? Well, I'm most known for my training. I've been doing this in Shanghai for about 7 years in this industry. And then they say, what do you really enjoy the most? Well, I enjoy design, and maybe the thing I'm most passionate about is coaching. And coaching is this very close relationship that you have with somebody to help them move forward in their careers, right? This is something that you want to help them think about their future. What are their dreams? Where do they want to go? But then also, what's holding them back? What's stopping them? And all the limitations that they put on themselves. It's a very personal relationship. So I want to introduce a client of mine. I can't tell you the name because it's all private, but just the background, right? Who is Jane? Jane is actually from the UK, part Chinese, part British. And so she speaks like 3 languages, is very smart, educated in the UK, very creative, and just a wonderful, smart human being. And when she came to me, she was obviously a little bit down, a little bit depressed. She felt like she wasn't being respected in her job. She felt like she wasn't being able to express her ideas. She didn't find meaning in her work anymore. So she just was frustrated, was lost, and just confused about what she should do next. And so because in our coaching relationship, we asked her the most simple question, why? What's going on? And she said, well, they hired me to be a business writer. It's a research firm, so they're always writing reports, and she has to edit them. Right? And she said, that's why they hired me. I said, no, that's not why they hired you. They hired you, Jane, because you have everything. You have creativity and you have logic. You have the ability to write and you have the ability to edit and create new ideas and all of these things. And she started to say, okay then. She started to realize it's not just the job title that was important to her, but there was so much more besides the simple thing that was written on her business card. And this is what I was trying to tell her, that we all have this infinite creativity inside of us. This is what I really believe. And I base my company on this idea that we all have this infinite creativity inside of us and that we can really do anything. And look at all the amazing speakers today doing all these amazing things, right? We have an enormous potential, but we limit ourselves. And this is the idea that I hold very closely. And I try to explain it to a lot of people, but sometimes it doesn't always get through. A year and a half ago, I met a guy named Michael. He's a high-level executive at one of the biggest technology firms in the company or in the world. And he's very smart, and he's much more senior than me, so I respect him highly. And I was trying to introduce to him my company. I said the whole 100 years of innovation in China thing. We're going to do whatever it takes. And he said, what is that? What do you really do, right? And I said, okay, let me try a metaphor and explain my company to you. And we were having dinner, so I explained the whole story. And I said, the metaphor was this. Other companies are like cups, okay? You have your accounting cup, you have your manufacturing cup, and you have your restaurant cup. And you're not going to expect your accounting cup to do your manufacturing or your manufacturing to do your F&B, right? Your food and beverage. And he's like, what are you talking about? He's a very smart guy, and I really admire him. He said, no. Companies, the most successful companies, are like hammers. They do one thing very well, and they do it over and over and over again. And Brian, if you want to be successful, you're going to have to find out what you do very well, and you're going to have to do it again and again and again and again. And I felt very, very, very down at this point. You can imagine if someone you look up to, a god almost, is saying these things about you and your belief that it's not true, that you are not creative, you can't do all these things, you can only do one thing very well, and that's how you become successful. And I thought, oh shit. This was a year and a half ago. I didn't have any examples to tell Michael, but soon after, I got a phone call from a client, or it turned out to be a client. It was a manufacturing company, and said, Brian, I hear you do creativity consulting. I said, yes, yeah, I do. I just started my company like 2 years ago, so this is very early. I was like, yes, phone call. And he said, creativity consulting, that's amazing. Can you do some posters for us? Okay, sure. We can do some posters. I am not, because I believe in this infinite creativity and we're going to do whatever it takes to help our clients because of this, all that, right? I said, sure. Let me find somebody, a designer who can help you get proper posters made. And so I called my friend and we went over there, we got the brief, but then my friend got sick. So because I told my client we were going to do it, and I had no choice but to do it myself. It wasn't so good, it wasn't so pretty. But soon after, I sent him another version, and he gave me some feedback. And I asked him, what do you think? And he gave me some more feedback. He said, make it simpler, make my logo bigger. They always say that. Make my logo bigger. And eventually, I'm very proud to say that they actually put my posters in their lobby, in the entranceway. So imagine that. A non-designer, a coach, a trainer, and getting my graphics being put on front of this billion-dollar company's entrance. That is pretty cool. And I'm thinking, all right, that's great, right? And soon after, they call me back a few days later. They say, Brian, thank you very much for those posters. We have this room that is not very inspiring. We're a factory. It's not very interesting. It's not very entertaining. Our people just don't feel very engaged. What can you do about this? What can you do about this room? I said, all right, do whatever it takes. All right. Yes, yeah, we can do it. What do we know about interior design? I don't know anything about interior design. We have some architects here. I don't know a damn thing, I have to be honest, all right? But I had this belief that we can be infinitely creative. So I said, okay, sure, let me try it, right? But what do I know? The only thing I do know is people. I don't know what a young 20-year-old Chinese factory worker thinks, but I can start to talk to him. So we went back and we did interviews and we tried to figure out what were they feeling? What did they want in their hearts? What were they really, what were their dreams like, right? And from there, those interviews, we got some ideas. And from there, we started to develop some prototypes, and then we showed it to the boss, and the boss said, okay, great. And I'm very happy to say it's something like this, something like this. And those factory workers now, they go back to this space every single day to take a break. Imagine being in a factory, 12 hours a day, working on like machinery and all types of things, and then having your own little space that you helped to design, right? It's great for them. So I'm very happy that we can work with them on this space. Soon after, they call me back again, thankfully. They say, Brian, thank you very much for the graphic designs. Thank you very much for the little interior design. Our people need to be more creative. Can you help them to be more creative? I said, yes, finally. I'm a trainer. I can do this. This I can do. So I went back. I gave them a workshop. It was training and coaching and giving them the skills of creative thinking, brainstorming, design thinking, all different types of tools to make them more creative. The skills, the hard skills, right? Not just feel creative in a space, but actually know how to do it. And so this was really cool. But so what? Well, a year and a half ago, I couldn't tell Michael, look, here are my examples, A, B, and C. Look how creative we can be. And now, a year and a half later, I could say, yeah, we did that. Infinite creativity inside of us is possible. And I believe it's possible for all of us, right? But a year and a half ago, I couldn't imagine telling him one client would give us 3 very, very, very different projects, right? Who could imagine that? Why would you trust your restaurant guy to do your designs and do your manufacturing and accounting and all this sort of stuff, right? So it was a huge step for us. And I finally had some examples to show him. But of course, he went back to his home country and I could never tell him, so this is my chance, okay? But that day, a year and a half ago, I went home and I went online and I found this great inspiring video with Bruce Lee, right? I love Bruce Lee. Before, I had no idea what Bruce Lee was like. I didn't know who he was, but I did some research and he turns out to be a very interesting guy. I didn't know this, right? Turns out he and I have something in common. His parents were born in his parents from Hong Kong, and he was born in America. My parents from Hong Kong, I was born in America. Yes. His birthday, November 27th. My birthday, November 26th. Hey! And then his first name is Bruce, which starts with a B. My first name is Brian, which starts with a B. Yes! I am Bruce Lee. This is awesome. But not quite. He knows Kung Fu. I don't know Kung Fu. This is it. That's where it ends. But he is a very inspiring guy, and he had this quote that I thought was just absolutely amazing. And he said, "Empty your mind. Be formless, shapeless like water. When you pour water into a cup, it becomes the cup. When you pour water into the bottle, it becomes the bottle. When you pour it into a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now water can flow and it can crash. Be water, my friend." And this was like, yes, Bruce Lee, yes, we're not cups, we're water. My company, we're not cups, we're water. Oh, I get it now. We're the Bruce Lee of consulting. And this is what I mean. We can be infinitely creative if we really believe it, right? We can be like water to adapt to all different types of situations. And that's the only way to get through life. Don't hold your job title too close, right? Just the flow. And so I really believe this, and I really believe this in my company, but how do we actually do that, right? I have some ideas. The most basic one, if you believe it, is do whatever it takes to have this infinite creativity inside of you and our inner infinity inside of us. Do whatever it takes. This is my personal philosophy. If you really want to help somebody, do whatever it takes to help them. If you really want something, do whatever it takes to make it happen, right? A lot of people here have amazing ideas. Do whatever it freaking takes, okay? And so, our inner infinity, give you a little bit more of the how-to, okay? I have 3 basic ideas. Infinity is a really big concept. It might give you more questions than answers, and that's a really, really good thing. A lot of times we have answers. I am the CEO. I have answers. But no, let's move away from that. Focus on the questions. As long as you have questions, you can continue to be creative. But a lot of times we say, I have my answer and that's it, and we cut it off there. But focus on the question. Keep thinking about the question. Who am I? On my business card, I literally have who is Brian Tam, and I'll give you guys my business card later. So focus on the question. That's more important than your answer. Secondly, go deep. Just as I did with the factory workers, I didn't know anything about them, but I wanted to empathize with them. I wanted to understand how do they feel. And if you really want to solve a problem, you have to get to the root of it. The root emotion, the root cause, whatever it's going to be, just keep asking why. Try to understand the situation as fully as you can. Then we can really do anything. And finally, be like Bruce, be like water, okay? Lose the job title. Forget about what your job title says and be who you want to be. How cool would that if we just started to be who we wanted to be, whether it's a superhero or a superstar, right? A super entrepreneur, whatever it's going to be that. And so this is what I hope for all of us today, that we can find our inner infinity. I believe that we have it if you start to just let go of those things that you call answers, this is how we can be infinite. Thank you.